This one kind of struck me as a sensitive engineer, so you'll have to bear with me. In the Stantec report, they attempted to compare operating costs at the RDF, at the landfill component of the Otter Lake site, to other sites in North America. And they selected 11 from across Canada, as well as some in the United States. And there were some themes that emerged about these sites that they selected. Of the 11, 10 of them had reduced liner standards. In fact, the 5 Ontario sites, in terms of the liners, and you can see a selection of liners over here in the corner that I urge you to take a look at before you leave, because it shows a representation of what you have at Otter Lake, and that's the one on the left, and then kind of working down to the one on the right, which is what is permissible in Ontario. They picked 5 Ontario sites with what I call clay-only liner systems. So no engineered components. It's the most modest-looking one there in the group on the right. And that type of liner system hasn't been permitted in Nova Scotia for over 20 years. Well, that represented 5 of the 11 sites that they selected. 4 of the US sites they selected had a single composite liner system. So not basically the one in the middle, not the one on the far left. Again, a lesser degree of engineering and environmental protection. Then there are the mega sites, and these ones kind of caught my attention because they weren't really explicitly identified in the report, but through a little investigation we found out where these sites were, and they were in the United States. 4 of them in the US, and there was actually one in Ontario. And I call them mega sites for a good reason. In comparison to the RDF at Otter Lake, which receives about 140,000 tons of waste per year, these mega sites receive between 700,000 and 2.6 million tons of waste a year. So between 5 and 19 times the waste that arrives at Otter Lake. Not to say that the community wouldn't be thrilled to be receiving 2.6 million tons of waste per year. Wow. And it's really quite an unfair costing exercise to take the Otter Lake RDF with its unique operational requirements and compare them to these very large facilities with very large quantities of tonnage crossing the scale and revenue being generated, and combined with lower environmental standards. I'll just quickly reference one landfill that I liked as an engineer. It was the 19 times one. It's called the Rumpke landfill. It's located near Cincinnati. It's the 6th largest landfill in the United States. It has its own Wikipedia page. So if you want to see an interesting landfill that you'd probably just as soon not live very close to, it would be the Rumpke site.